All right, so for the next 4 years, all right, give me your prediction about the state of things. Do you think good, bad, up, thumbs down?
I guess the optimist in me thinks we will see some good.
Okay.
I do. I think we will see some good out of this in at least a couple of the areas. In all of them, maybe not. A couple of them, I believe so. I also feel like a lot probably won't change. I'm hoping I see good. I'm hoping. I don't really know. I'm hoping I do. I'm expecting to. At least in my opinion, I think you're going to have those people that what I call is improvement or good things. They're going to, shoot holes in and tell you why you're wrong for thinking that. But I don't see things getting worse, I guess I could say.
All right, I'm gonna break my own rules of this question.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you my prediction.
Okay.
I think this is the long game play. Okay.
Okay.
So I think. All right. So Trump is one term. He's out of there. He's not looking for re-election. So whatever he can get done in these 4 years is going to get done.
Yep.
I think all of the things he's attacking are going to take much longer than 4 years to be able to get done. There's no way.
That's kind of why I'm like, I don't know if it'll be hugely different.
So JD, young guy, picked very specifically for the person that's going to hand the baton. So I think in 2028, it's going to be Gavin Newsom versus JD Vance. JD Vance is going to take the baton. Everything they start right now, they need to have lots and lots of successes early on. So the public wants a continuation. He's going to have a successor. So he needs to hand off what happens to that next person. So I think they're going to orient it so that everybody's going to be enamored. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. With what gets done, they're not going to start off with the most radioactive things. They're not going to start off with the good things that are going to make people mad. They're going to take the things that everybody can kind of agree that that's a change that was needed. Everybody feels the effects. If the economy gets better, illegal immigration goes down, whatever the top 3 things are, those are the things that they're going to hit first. So everybody can kind of say, yeah, things are much better here. And then you have another 8 years with JD Vance. I think this is going to be a 12-year cycle where whatever they set out now, I think 12 years is probably enough time to get these very heavy lifts that they have planned done if they can get 3 consecutive Republican terms to be able to do it. It's going to have to be lots of negotiation. There's going to be lots of Senates and Houses that have to span this. So you can't get to 4 or 2 years from now, the House changes and the Senate changes, and now nothing can get done because of that changeover. So if they're really good at negotiating and if they're really playing a long game, the onset of this is going to have lots of unity within government, so they're making concessions from day one. If they come out guns blazing and force everything down people's throat from the get-go, the 12-year plan is done, and they're going to get a 4 years with as much as they can, and it's going to be good but not great.
Yeah. And I keep hearing that thing, too, like, you always hear that argument, well, if so-and-so would have done things, they would have done them when they had the chance. But then you hear, well, it takes time to do things. We didn't have a lot of time to do it. So which side of that argument do you tend to lean towards?
Well, politicians are bullshit artists, okay? So it's one of those it's one of those things where their first job is to get reelected.
Yeah.
Right? So if they have to do something 30 seconds before getting reelected. So like I effed around for 3 years and then people are really concerned about the border. So at the last minute, you do something for the border. Mm-hmm. They only do things as inspired by getting elected the next time, right?
Yeah.
And so I have 0%. Like, I think that you probably jacked around for 3 years and didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden it became a priority. I don't see anybody other than the Dream Team, right, taking a sole principled responsibility of doing it for the sole reason of doing it, not because they want to get elected as a professional politician for the next 20 years.
Speaking of the Dream Team or the Avengers, maybe I've just missed this. I don't know. Do we have some next steps for Tulsi Gabbard? I mean, she kind of came over, helped campaign, helped support, helped push along. Is there anything that maybe they're talking about doing with her? Like RFK, obviously, there's been a lot of discussion about what he's going to do. I wonder very much what the next steps for Tulsi are.
I really think it's in her cabinet. She is so wicked smart, and she is really good at the political game. So I don't necessarily think she's going to be one of those actuators in those department, sort of like reorganizations. I think she's going to be a right hand in some department making all that, because she is just so functionally good at what she does. She was an executive, in the executive branch as a governor. So military. I mean, she is awesome. So that's where I would use her if she came into my cabinet. She'd be right hand.
That would be so great. It would be so great to see. And then I'm so sick of hearing these things like when they take someone that got different information and changed their mind, but then they say, oh, well, they just jumped ship and they abandoned, or they were outed, pushed out of their party or whatever. Like, what do you say if someone's like, oh, RFK had to go that way because his own party kicked him out? Or like, oh, people turn. That drives me insane. You could say that about both sides. People went to both sides based off of who was going to benefit them.
That's politics. And really, if you take a freshman, representative, right? Got no seats, got no power. You're beholden to everybody. You would just be happy if anybody gave you something, something to do. So to be able to have a presence, you almost have to play the game and become a politician so you get in a position where you can actually do anything.
Yeah.
Right? And then so a lot of them, for relevancy, play the political game. So I'm not surprised if it came down to it. Let's just say some of these independents really impress me. When they have a principle and their party throws them out and they stick to principle and then they run as an independent and then they get voted. Like Bernie Sanders is one of those. What was the guy from West Virginia that recently ran as an independent? I forget his name. But anyway, those guys are, they take all of their power and they're willing to risk it and lose it to be able to follow through on what they believe in and their principles. Not many politicians are in that boat. So it's a very specific type of politician who would forgo to cocktail parties and the admiration from the rest of the people in their party to do the principal thing. And I think that's a very small subset.
You know who else I've just recently, and I know this is incredibly late in the game, just recently started to find interesting. Oh, I don't know how to say his name. I feel like it begins with a V.
Vivek.
Yes.
Mazaswamy. Yeah, Vivek.
That guy.
Yeah.
Started watching some more stuff about him just this week. And that is one of the most perfect examples that I have seen of someone trying to have an adult conversation with somebody else that has an opposing view. And it is, let's really hash this out. Let's really consider each other's viewpoint. Let's really give each other time to speak. And almost every time I see him do that, the other person just wants to storm off and just quit. And there was one, I did see them come back and they sort of found some middle ground. But I like that guy. How do you feel about that guy?
Oh, I love him. He's great.
I think he's part of one of the Avengers that I've seen pictures
one of the young dudes that are in there that has a long shelf life in politics. But I consider him, usually when you have a debate, it's like, I want to throw my zinger at you, you want to throw yours. And you weren't really interested in my response. You were looking to own me, right? And so like when he's got the brain power and his ability that he does, and he goes up against someone that it's just a battle of debates where he's not going to change any minds, he's not going to function. It's such wasted brain energy. I want that guy solving problems. I don't want him debating some numbless normie, brainless normie and wasting that energy and attention on them. So that's like even, like Ben Carson. The guy, they're so patient and they explain themselves. And when they explain themselves, you see deer in headlights with that person because it never even penetrated their skull. They read something earlier in the day, they threw it out at you, thought they were going to make you uncomfortable, and that was it for them. That's all they wanted to do to you, is they wanted to injure you with their words for a minute. They weren't there about to get in some kind of two-way exchange.
Yeah. And I don't know. I hope if anything comes out of this election, at least for a couple of maybe...
seconds?
Well, yeah, but a couple of maybe like open-minded people, it is to now learn to consider other viewpoints and other ideas. And I've tried to remain neutral through a lot of this election, but, it's towards the end now. I don't care. I'll admit it. But I used to be pretty, Democratic, left. I've never in my life voted for a Republican president, ever. I feel like I still support a lot of the ideals and thoughts that people who lean left support. But I really got more information this time and a different view this time. And I started listening to those people that I would have just automatically written off. Well, they're just part of that machine and it's nothing but bull crap over there anyways. And I only like these people. And then you start seeing these people go a little off the rails and these people start to make a little more sense and truly look at sources of information that are not biased. And everybody says that, but I don't think everybody actually does it. And really start listening to each other. You know, I said earlier, you have these people that are like, well, if you feel this way, then don't talk to me. We're not friends. That's the worst thing you can do. If you feel this way and I don't, you're the one I need to talk to. Why would I just sit in cahoots all day with all the like-minded people that get it? It's like, I want to know why you don't. Tell me your experiences. Show me your sources. Tell me the instances that you have seen all these wrongdoings and let me see. And if you don't have that, then don't be mad if I go the other direction.
But you project a bunch. You are such a reasonable, nice person. And when you're talking to someone, you think they're also a nice, reasonable person.
Oh, I have found they
are not.
Are not. Yes.
Okay, let's just say we can agree. We have the ideals. Like, today, I'm just going to be nice to everybody. It's easy to do when it's reciprocated and there's no friction because of it. Now, what if you came up and you were nice to me and I said, that's nice of you, but you're a jerk face. And then you said, we're nice to me again. And I said, and you're Hitler. And then you said something nice to me and I kneecapped you. And then you were nice to me and I slashed your tires. How long would you go about when the principles of other people do not support you being nice to me? How long do you stay nice? That 1 second, right? When you know you're not getting the feedback that you were after, you thought, if I'm going to be nice to you, I'm going to be nice to you, you're going to be nice back. And then we'll both be happy and we'll both get along, right?
Yeah.
But nobody, when the culture sucks, then you're at a disadvantage because you were nice and all you did was get kneecapped. Yeah. And it ruins you forever.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few instances where I said very respectfully, that opinion seems a little off. I don't understand why you would feel that way. Could you explain that a little more? And if you take their answer and in any way say, okay, but don't you then see how that is a little hypocritical? Or wouldn't you then want to do this? Amped up, we're done here. And almost every time it's like, well, then you just don't understand, or you're just a jerk, or you're just
You notice
whatever.
they went zero introspective. They didn't go inside and consider what you just said and see if they were wrong, because that's everything you would do as a reasonable person. But it's almost like it went into the cavity that's supposed to happen, and it got vomited out with vile rage, right?
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
it. So you got to just assume at a certain point that not everybody carries around the level of reasonable niceness that you have. So wasting that effort on trying to like cram a little niceness in there when it's just going to be vomited back out you, it's fool's errand. It really is.
It's funny when you were saying, you were talking about trying to be nice, not getting nice back. There's a meme I just saw on Facebook and it said, interesting point, but your mama.
100%. That is it.
Exactly.
We laugh at it because we know that 99% of the people that we're arguing with will not take anything that we said and file it in the way of useful information at all. So it's wasted.
Something I just like want to scream to the country right now. And I've tried to stay out of it. And I've tried to stay neutral because it can be scary to tell people what side you're on or who you voted for. But there are a lot of people I know that supported Trump through this, that are not racist, that are not anti-LGBTQ, that are not, against women and think that women should just be controlled by men. And all these other narratives you hear are so far from the truth. And the fact that that crap gets pushed on them on a regular basis, I think, is what this whole election was about and decided its fate.